Hi everyone, it's a lunch break and we're gonna have something interesting today as usual. With you here, Marie, Garrick, there's Vinny somewhere right there, and Jay on the line. Hi Jay, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing well. I don't have any animals here, but doing pretty okay. Just finished lunch, so thank you.
Yeah, I gonna support you today and I gonna have warm tea. Finally, it's really cozy and chilly outside that you can enjoy the cup of hot tea and still have fans on, but
Yeah,
it feels a little bit like fall and just like wanna safe cover yourself with a little blanket and just drink tea. How about someone working, I need to work
yeah,
too.
of course. But we're just taking a quick break right now. We're going to do something a little bit different. Usually we watch other people tell Reddit stories, and we're going to test the capabilities of our technology here. I'm going to screen share from my phone a Reddit story that I find interesting. Marie does not know what it is yet. I read through it briefly, and last I checked, actually, it came out a couple of hours ago. I signed up
Oh,
for
so
email
it's
alerts.
fresh. It's
Super fresh,
fresh.
super
Okay.
fresh, and I think we can relate to it, and I'll explain why at the end. Are you ready?
Ooh, I'm excited. Okay. I'm always interesting, especially if I don't know what it is.
All right,
It's a
awesome. I'm gonna go
surprise.
ahead. I'm gonna go
Okay.
ahead and do the screen share. So give me 1 second. So this is from "Am I the Asshole?" This was dropped a couple hours ago. Am I the asshole for refusing to go on a date with a woman because of her religion? I met a woman through some mutual friends about a year ago, and we also became friends. Last week, she asked me out on a date, and I said I wasn't interested. At first, she accepted my answer, but a couple of days later, she asked me why I wasn't interested. I felt awkward answering, but decided to be honest and said, I don't date Christians. She was a little upset by my answer and asked me if I thought that was discriminatory. I said no. She said she isn't even that religious, and I said fine, but I have my own culture and religion, and Christianity tends to consume everything else. That's just my observation from some interfaith relationships I've seen. She hasn't spoken to me since then, but I found out yesterday she's been telling our social circle about what happened. Another friend said he thinks it's discrimination too, and that I should give her a chance instead of assuming she'll try to convert me when she isn't even that religious. I don't actually think she'll try to convert me. It's just that Christians tend to assume their religion is the default, so they don't even realize when they're pushing it. I'd rather date women who aren't Christians, and honestly, I'm fine waiting for a little while to find one. Am I an asshole for discriminating?
It's a crazy story, to tell you.
Oh, yeah, and I said we kind of relate because most people don't know it. I'm a devout Pastafarian. So Marie doesn't necessarily agree with my religious views. I worship spaghetti, and that was a terrible joke that I set up. I don't think we directly relate to this at all. but yeah, no, I thought it was like we've been out of the dating game for a while. We're married. We've been together for a few years now. So we don't, fortunately, don't have to deal with this type of situation. And we didn't really have like any disagreements about like us in particular, like what we believe in and like what we don't believe in. So this is just purely from like a speculative point of views, our point of views.
Mhm.
Um, but what do you think? Do you feel like he's the a-hole?
Yes. Uh, if this the only one thing that bothering you, it's someone's belief. Um, you at least go on a date. You know what I mean? It's not the relationship. It's like, oh, you want to have a relationship like for many, many years with me? It wasn't just like, hey, let's go hang out. Let's go like on a date. Let's go just talk privately, you and me, about something we're interested in. You can go. Like, it's not something crazy to say like, oh no, you a Christian? No, I don't go to date with a Christian.
I would argue and check what you mean by that, because like they could go out as friends, but like my understanding is if you're asking out on a date, like especially like when I started dating you, I was dating with the intention of finding someone to be with. So if it was like, hey, do you want to go to Chuck E. Cheese and spend these leftover tokens I have? and like have fun and have a couple pizzas and soda pops, that's one thing. But like by explicitly using the term date, I'm assuming that what they mean is like go on a date with you to pursue a relationship or whatever in that sense. Now you think he's an asshole for not going on the date with this woman purely based on her religion.
Listen, we understand if someone invite one person to the date, it means they interested in the relationship. You like a person, you know her as a friend. You don't know her like a girlfriend. You know what I mean?
But if we're
So
using the word date, I'm gonna assume that means like let's see if we can be more than friends.
yes,
Can we work off of that assumption?
yes. That's
Okay.
what I mean. I'm sorry. Maybe I misexplain anything, something. Maybe I said something wrong, but yeah, it's like you can go on a date. Like sometimes someone can invite you, and you just say, "Okay, I'm just go and look." And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Maybe you're gonna talk to her about something. You can voice it like you're Christian, how hardcore you are Christian, like what do you interested, what do you believe, and I don't like to discriminate people by anything. I really don't like it because sometimes I don't like really like religious people who's like really really into the religion, but it doesn't mean they're bad people and you can be friends with them or have relationships with them. It's wrong. It's the same say like, oh, if you fat, I'm not gonna go on a date with you, or if you redheaded, I don't want to go to the date with you, or like you have a blue eyes, I'm not dating blue eyes. It's like I understand you have a preferences. I totally understand that, but sometimes people just like, oh, I was baptized when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm a Christian, like by the religion my parents gives me, or like the school I was. But it doesn't mean I like hardcore. I don't know how deep into it, like this situation. Maybe she's like crazy. It's like I want to 500 kids or whatever. They like Christian have like a little different waves, if I can
Different
say
types,
that.
sure.
Yes.
Now, if we're going based off of just the Reddit post itself, she said, I am not that religious, it's just her background. I would argue against you and say that I don't think he is an asshole, only because, like full disclosure, like religion isn't super important to us as people. I think we can agree on that.
Mhm.
Like, I have a little bit of an upbringing, but it's not like I don't necessarily like base my morality on that. Like I'm not an active practicing Christian or whatever. Um, However, if that's like a requirement or something that keeps him from pursuing something romantically with somebody, and he's stating that from the beginning, I think that makes him not an asshole. Only because, like, yes, you're right. Like, you can't date somebody, you can't figure out who they are and see, what they're about, and you might have like a real relationship, but like down the line, especially like he said, I have my own. He didn't specify what. He said,
Mhm.
I have my own religion and my own customs. Like that might be something that gets in the way. Like that affects people and how they start families. That affects people how they go and have fun. That affects people like in all different types of ways. And if he's saying from the forefront, like I don't date people that are Christians, right? Like I think it's better than going on these dates with her and then finding out down the line, like, oh, I'm not going to compromise on a specific values because you're Christian and I'm this. You know what I mean? Like
You know,
I agree with like
Mhm.
I was
You
gonna
agree
say
with?
like being friends like is cool. You can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with, people of different faiths, different whatever. But like down the line, like especially for a relationship, that's going to get in the way. Like that can become an argument as to like, okay, we're together, we're romantically involved for 3 years, we plan on getting married. Now we're gonna establish like roles at the home. Some people might be stricter in like what they would allow in their home or what they would want in their home, and
Mhm.
that's a huge disagreement. And like that's not something that most people are willing to compromise on. So by being forthright about it early, like he's not wasting her time. He could waste her time. He could go on these dates with her. They could get involved, and then like down the line, he's like, all right, well now you need to be this way because of my religion. Or she's like, hey, like sometimes people get older and they kind of fall more into their faith. That's a thing that happens. Like I might not be super religious now, but I might have life experiences that I'm going to pull like wisdom from that stuff in my past. And now that's going to be more important to me than it was 3 years ago.
You know what you talking right now about? I can see it, but I also think we misunderstood him because I think he just in general don't like her. And he
I,
just finds something to just like, oh, I'm not. And I will explain why I think that way. I hear in lots of stories when people find each other and one person changed their religion to be with another person because they interested in them. You don't know this person. She may find out that she's actually really into you and you into her, and she can take your religion. Because woman and man can change their religion, I understand, but I heard a lots of stories when Christian girl met the I don't know, Muslim guy, and now she's wearing hijab. Like, okay, she changed her religion for the law, and men can change their religion. So in this particular situation, I believe he just don't like her in general. He don't want to date with her. He's not interested in her, and not saying like, hey, I see you more like a friend. I don't want to date with you. I want to stay a friend. He decide to say like, oh, you Christian. I'm not dating Christian, and we will see probably in the future that he's like gonna be married with a Christian girl. He just be an asshole, and I think he's an asshole not because he's because he's asshole. Because he can say that differently. I think he just in general don't like her. There is nothing about the religion, and if it's about the religion, it's discrimination. Why you have a friend? Like why you friends with a Christian if you like? Oh, I'm not gonna date a Christian. Like you don't like the Christian. What do you want to do to the Christian? Why you mean to the Christian?
I think you could be friends with anyone, Marie. I don't think that's what the issue
why
is.
You can dating anyone,
because that might be against his religion and he might not be willing to compromise on that. People have a right to like date based on what they believe in. You know what I mean?
I think he's an asshole.
I would say like he even said it in the post. I was just looking at it like he doesn't want to waste your time. You can be friends with other people in other religions. You don't have to date them. Like, and a couple of the comments in there were saying too, like, you don't need a good reason to not want to date someone. If you're not interested, you're not interested. Initially, he said no. And then she pursued him and said, like, why don't you want to date me? And then he gave her that honest answer. Like I said, I don't think it makes him an asshole to not want to compromise on his values. You and I might not necessarily agree on letting those types of values dictate our life, but that's just you and me. And I think that's why we work. Other people base their entire existence off of the morals and teachings of religious books and texts and religions in general. Like, he has a right to be friends with Christians. He has a right to be friends with Jews, Muslims. He has a right to be friends with anyone. You can be friends with anyone, but I don't think you need to feel compelled to romantically date people and then end up wasting their time when it doesn't match up with what you feel. Now, if he's open to learning, that's one thing, but he's not, so he's being upfront about that.
By this state of mind, you mean like you can say like, oh, I can be friends, for example, with the black people, but I'm not married black people. That's not a racism, right? Like you have the preferences, right? But if someone like you, like, let's go on a date, and you just say like, girl, like you comes to me, and you say like, or I comes to you. And I said, hey, let's go on like date. And you tell me, oh, no, I'm not dating like Ukrainians. And how I must feel in this particular situation? Oh, like you said no, and I was like, why not? And she's like, I'm not dating Ukrainians. It's kind of discrimination. You like a person, like a man, a woman, you have all rights not say no.
Right.
But when you specify, you being honest, I'm a specify. I'm not gonna dating with you, and I don't want to dating with you because of this. Oh, it's because you're black, or it's because you're Hispanic. It's because you have a brown eyes, or it's because you're too tall.
Right.
It's your objective thing. and you're not like, yes, you're being honest, you say what you think, but it's discrimination. If the same thing, if you said to the fat girl, like, I don't want to go to the date with you, and you say, like, why? Oh, because I'm not dating fat.
I think that everyone is entitled to their opinions and what they want, and they're entitled to
Yes.
their preferences. Now, however you share those things, that's a different story. Like, and then as a person that's asking, why aren't you dating me? And then this person tells you, like, you're like, Jay, why don't you want to date me? Oh, I don't want to date people from the Eastern European region or Ukrainian
Okay.
specifically.
Yeah.
Okay. You could feel how you feel about that. I could feel how I feel about that. I might not feel like it's discriminatory. I just feel like that's not what I want. You might feel like it is discriminatory. Then you could take a step back and be like, you know what? Okay, I shouldn't feel bad. They told me who they were, and I can move on and choose to whether be friends with them or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you could look at that as, instead of like, oh, you're wrong, you could look at that as like, okay, I dodged the bullet because this was going to be a conflict down the line.
For the girl, like, it's like,
and we're just looking at dating specifically, not friendships. Friendships is a different thing.
Even if it's like a friend. So, for example, again, we go to, because it's people take religion, like, take apart, like, appearance, religion, race. They take that apart. But in general, if you specify, like, oh, I'm not, like, or age, like, oh, we're too old. You know what I mean? If you, like, separate that, it's still the same thing. It's the same theme. Maybe I'm taking it really too personal. I'm not religious at all, but I just try to accept all people, because you never know. You may doesn't be the couple, but you may know this person a bit better. And if she said she's not that religion, and she told you that, like, hey, I'm not that religion, I'm not, like, crazy about it, I'm not go to the, like, I don't know what she says, you know.
She said, I'll just reiterate, she's background's Christian, but she's not that religious.
Yeah,
he still has a right to say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
To dating.
I'm not. Yes, absolutely. Like, that's the thing. You can say no, but like I said, specify. Like,
she asked.
She's asked.
And he gave an honest answer.
And because of this, he gonna probably lose the friends, and not only this particular girl, but some people who support her, because that's he, listen, I will say that again. I'm gonna stress it again. He have the all rights to say whatever they want. But the concept, like you always tell me, you have a right, free speech. You have a right to voice your opinion about any topic or about anything you like or dislike. But there is a consequences.
And people have a right to right to react how they want to react to what you say.
And there's going to be people who find him as an asshole, and there's going to be people who are going to be agree with him. But if he's friends, how I understand from whatever you read,
they're all in a friend circle.
Yes, and the friends see him as an asshole too, and he's hello. No, you're not stepping in it.
Oh, hi, Vinny.
And a friend see him as an asshole, so his friend group find this action also weird, and now he may lose the friend, or like the friendship group, the friends group, because of his action, because he decides to, oh, I'm gonna be honest, and honesty is great.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, just based off of the text.
Yeah,
like not off of any inferences or how I interpret, based purely off the text. I don't think he's an asshole for voicing his beliefs and why he won't date somebody. You could just say, well, he initially said, no, I'm not interested. And she kept asking him why. Like, socially, maybe you could have said something else, or just kept to like, I'm just not interested. I'm sorry. I see you more as a friend. Socially,
yes.
Yeah, you could do that to prevent yourself from being looked at as an asshole. But if your values are that strong, which could be, he was really vague about himself, and maybe he did that so people can identify him. So he's obviously not a Christian, but there's so many other religions out there. He could be a fellow Pastafarian, all hail linguini. But I'm sorry.
I'm never mind. But
I don't think he's an asshole for feeling the way he does and choosing to do what he does. I don't think he's an asshole, period. But just be prepared for other, like you said, be prepared for other people to voice their opinions. You voice your opinion. Now you kind of open it up, right?
Yes.
You could have just kept it as simply, I'm just not interested. I only see you as a friend. And that's a good enough excuse. Like saying I'm not interested is a good enough excuse to not date anyone. Like you don't have to over explain. You don't have to write a dissertation about like, this is why I don't see myself dating.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was persistent. He gave in. These are the consequences. People are going to look at you bad. And I think that's part of the issue that he said. Could he have continued to be vague? Sure, he could have, but he chose like, these are my convictions and this is how I feel about it. Right, wrong,
What's
or
the people
indifferent.
say? What's the people say? I know it's a fresh story. What's the comments there? Do you
A lot
read
of the comments? Yeah, let me open it up and then we'll close it out. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Yes. I have strong feeling that he's an asshole because he's probably discriminate people not only by that. You know what I mean? It's like there is a people who's,
Yeah,
especially if you that much religion that you not accept other religions around you, like not around you, but like close to you. Yuck.
Hey, listen, people are entitled to do that.
Yes, totally. Like
so
I just you asked me about my personal opinion. I feel like I have deep feeling that he's asshole.
Okay. Well, a lot of people, let's see what people are saying and then we'll close out. I only have a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So one person, exactly, it's dating. It's not a job interview. Also, you don't have to justify or explain why you don't want to date someone. I'm not interested is valid without further explanation.
Agree.
Religion is a big deal breaker for some people. Not the asshole. Religion is a deal breaker for some people. Even if the relationship survives the early stages and you get serious, what about marriage and kids? What kind of ceremony would you have? How would the extended families receive one another? What religion would you raise your children as? All of these can cause major strife. And relationships also have many landmines to navigate without throwing this one in there. It's just being realistic to establish what your deal breakers are in advance. That's completely fair. What isn't fair is bad mouthing you to friends because she's unhappy with rejection. You don't owe anyone a date. If it was a man demanding that from a woman, it would be considered predatory. Well, that's one person's opinion. That's for sure.
Okay. Well, I feel like like in general religious people like who's like to have faith in something, to believe in God, to believe in Allah, to believe in whatever, everything. It's great, but when it starts to be uncomfortable in a society, like around the friends or relationship or family, it's nah, it doesn't worth it.
Yeah. Well, listen, this was a pretty serious conversation. I'm glad you kind of partook in it with me. But I do have to go back to work. I have to pray to my pasta gods to make sure we have extra fettuccine tonight.
The spaghettio. How many gods we have? Spaghettio. We have how it's called raviolio and sorry, raviolis.
Thank you, babe. Thank you. But we should close this out. Thank you for joining us again. This has been another lunch break with Jay and Marie. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe. We're going to be working on some projects in the future, getting back into the podcast soon. Hopefully pretty soon we'll have a special announcement about that, so stay tuned. And goodbye.
Bye. And Derek say bye too, but he's after lunch a little bit tired.